Second, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
I can't tell what kind of crinoid that is, though. If it's a stalked, it looks like a stalked one. It has that
Yeah.
purplish color. Yeah.
So earlier we saw one of these on a stalk crinoid. We're not. I'm guessing this is a small stalk crinoid. We just can't see the stalk because
Yeah.
it's in the mouth of the sea urchin. So this is the second time today that we've seen predation by a sea urchin.
This is really cool. This
Not
is
very
actually
cool
making
for the
us,
crinoid.
Yeah, this is making us actually rethink the function of the spines of the urchin.
Yeah.
Maybe they can use the spines of the urchin to trap potential mobile crinoid prey, stalked crinoids from escaping. I mean,
Yeah, they look like they have a really, like a bear hold.
yeah.
Nice crinoids.
Maybe that serves a function. Maybe that's why the oral surface of the spines, or the oral spines, kind of have this bow-shaped or serrations. Maybe they help to trap the crinoid prey.
And they seem like they're a little bit curved underneath, like to cup, be able to like cup.
Yeah, like get around that prey item.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a pretty awesome, like, crinoid first kind of historic observation day.
It's National Geographic urchin style. There's a stalk. There you go. I think that's a stalk.
Oh no.
Oh, poor guy. Oh.
Oh yeah, you can see part of the stalk.
Yeah.
Maybe this one tried to get away, and the urchin outsmarted the crinoid.
Wow.
I think it's just comical that there's another yellow crinoid on one of the tips. I suppose it's the safest place to be if you're a crinoid, is on your predator.
Yeah, you can't reach it.
Yeah.
That's one smart crinoid. Just
Also,
don't fall off.
Yeah. So, pilot, we have a request in front of us behind the urchin to zoom on the base of this bamboo coral. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were moving out or just repositioning, but whenever you're convenient.
Yeah, you could see its little cirri all over the place. Oh, sorry, crinoid.
I would say it's a bloodbath, but that wouldn't be accurate.
It's a cirri bath.
Wow, yeah, this is definitely totally entrapped. I would say this is probably a younger individual, definitely. Doesn't look like it has much of a big stalk. It's maybe half the size of one of the larger adult stalked individuals.
Just to look at the base of the coral.
Want to get lasers on this again just to make sure we got a good measurement?
I know, sorry,
Oh,
it's
the
the one in the background. I'm just seeing it now, the yellow base. We can get it from here. It's, don't.
So, Steve, you were asking in the chat room if this is a chemical or microbial factor that's causing it to turn yellow. And I don't know the answer to that. I do know that there are some colonies in this clade of bamboo corals where the tissue is completely yellow over the entire colony, and then some others where it only appears yellow at the base, and then as you've noted, there are others that don't branch that have this yellowish tint. So I don't know if that's a characteristic of age, of all of them, or what. But it's mostly reliable, not entirely, but it's mostly reliable as an associate character along with other characteristics that define it. And if we could just focus on the foreground one without moving.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we focus on the foreground colony? On the polyps, I'm assuming you want? Yeah?
The polyps and the branch, it just seemed like it was fairly stable, good position. Maybe we could see a little bit more.
Yeah. So good zoom on the polyps and the branching.
Great. Yep. You see those nodes, they seem to be like bicolored. They're lighter gold on the edge and dark in the center, internodal branching. I'm pretty comfortable saying that all of these are, in fact, in the Cladorisis clade. So, good stuff. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that makes us good to go here.
Coming off now. Oh yeah, that's another one.
You want to call moving? Or do you want to wait?
That's at 45, and I've dropped down just to give you more light. So
Bridge is RV now. Yeah, I'd like to move. Same as last. Range 20 meters.
Oh, it looks like
090. Speed
it
decibel.
is eating a bamboo coral.
Good copy. Thanks for
This is a sight. I've never thought that a dive would be focused on echinoderms. This is like echinoderm heaven.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah, everyone's having a bad day except the echinoderms here.
Derm specialists. And the people that study them.
So we're looking at a different kind of predation here by these histosideris urchins on corals this time, on these bamboo corals we've been seeing over the past few hours, couple hours I would say. I wonder if, since it's propped up a little bit more, if we'll be able to see the feeding
mouth?
surface.
Yeah.
20 meter move, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Should be okay, I think. Might get a little bit of head and above, but
Okay. I can always stop it too.
yeah, I can come up a little
I
bit.
bet this type of prey is probably a little bit more difficult to manipulate since it's so fine. But it's not unusual to see these sort of siderids chomping down on corals. I know that they were extensively seen in the Pacific, chomping down on primnoids, bamboos, pretty much whatever they could climb on. We've also seen them chomping down on black corals here in the Mona Passage, as well as sponges, or suspected to be sponges. You know, I was wondering, we're not seeing a lot of sargassum or surface-derived carbon at this area. It's kind of really current swept, and you don't end up with those pockets of phytodetritus. I wonder if they're just going to the next best thing.
Yeah.
Usually we see these urchins and organisms eating phytodetritus.
But also sargassum is a temporal thing, so it comes and goes.
certainly these spines are probably the longest we've seen on any of these urchins so far. It might give them an edge in trying to
Prop up.
and trying. I would wonder why you wouldn't start at the base and kind of work your way up. I guess if you have the stilts, you can kind of prop up and
finishing up shortly.
And if you look at the one in the background, it's laying without any branches. Maybe the branches have more tissue, so it's a smart urchin.
Yeah, that's probably
going
true.
for the meaty parts.
less calcium carbonate to digest.
Following you up. And that's 60.
Move is complete. Thanks, Bridge.
So, for folks on shore, we're now within our last hour of bottom time, and fortunately, we'll be back tomorrow with another day of dives, but we're kind of in our home stretch here. I think we'll make our waypoint 4 right about on time. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Is there a fish in the upper left corner in that pit? I see a fin.
I was going to come off at 405.
Yeah, something with the tail in that hole. 12 o'clock. Yep.
Oh, something big. He's hiding in the only hole.
Yep. He heard us. Looks like a snapper.
I can't get a good look. I think it's one of the... I'm not sure what it is.
It's hiding very well.
Yeah, I can't get a shot at
It's a roughie.
Ruffy.
There are a couple shrimp in that hole, though. Similar to the shrimps we were seeing at the site that had a lot of roughy and
Yeah,
off Mona.
and Mona.
Yep.
Yeah, there was tons of shrimp.
There's at least 2 or 3 shrimps that I saw inside that hole. This fish is not going to give us a good profile.
my port a little bit. Okay.
Bunch of bamboo rubble there.
Yeah. And look at there, all these branches that are missing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the siderids are doing a number on the coral community here. And the crinoid community.
Oh, I think there's another fish. Is that a fish? Oh, no, that's a crinoid. Oh.
Maybe get another move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridge, this is RV nav. Yeah, I'd like a move, same as the last, 20 meters, bearing 090 degrees, speed decimal 2.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's a
thanks,
green
Bridge.
eye. Yeah. I believe we haven't seen any much larger than this, so I think this
Oh.
is there. Yeah.
At most 10 centimeters, I think, is the biggest ones we've seen.
Oh, got a fish right behind you. It's coming up on your starboard. If you turn slowly, you'll get him.
Oh, another queen.
It's the same one.
So far I have
Prowling around.
5 queens. Not sure if it's the same queen, but 5 sightings.
The boat's on the move, maybe 7 meters in.
I think that's a bottle. Can we snap zoom on the green? Yeah, right at 3. Oh, there's a, is that the silverfish below? No, that's a green eye and a bottle.
Look how the bottle's in the little hole. It's propped up.
Very nice.
Is there something in the bottle?
Looks like
Is
an
it
old
behind it?
bottle.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
behind it.
I think so.
We haven't noticed too much fishing gear today, but we have seen it in previous days. I think, I don't know if that possible broom handle or mop handle we were looking at, metal bar earlier, was part of a fishing line or
Looks
not,
like
but
the boat's finishing
it's
up.
possible.
I would agree. Looks like high pack's got us 20
Nice.
meters.
It's remarkably accurate.
Yeah. Move complete. Thanks, Bridge. We got 42 minutes. Yeah, 42 minutes.
Is that a hole, that dark circular object, or is that some more trash? Kind of looks like a lid or a wheel. We've seen something that looks like this before at another site. It has a hole in it. It kind of reminds me of a drum, like an oil can or something, with one hole in it.
Oh yeah, like the top of a paint
Or a
bucket.
paint can, maybe. 25, 30 centimeters across. Maybe 20 centimeters. Yep. Pretty rusty. Probably not associated with fishing.
Yeah,
That's great.
and that's 50 degrees. So probably do another.
Now looking around, you could kind of
Half
see
that.
some of these stalks. Pieces of stalks.
Oh yeah. Yep. Can we snap zoom on the kind of the right center now? On the, see if that's a piece of a old stalked crinoid.
Crinoid.
Bridge is ROV nav. Yeah, I'd make a move, same as last. Range 20 meters, bearing 090, speed decimal 2.
Yeah.
Good copy. Thanks, Bridge. 2.5.
It's a body piece from a crinoid.
Carnage.
Carnage.
Also could have been, yeah, an escape attempt.
There's something here that.
There's another Histosideris. This one looks like it's on the move.
Run,
Although-
crinoid.
Yeah, again, another instance of this possible crinometra yellow crinoid on the tips of the spines being in a good position for avoiding the business end of the crinoid underneath there.
Look at all the small crinoids on the end, brittle stars on the spines. There are 3 crinoids on the spines.
Yeah. I used to think these siderids especially are kind of benign. You don't see them doing much. They're always kind of just sitting there. But yeah, they're definitely, for me, after this dive, they fit into the category of charismatic megafauna. They definitely have their own character.
Maybe that's the safest place for those crinoids to live.
I think so. They're
Most
smart.
certainly. Yeah.
Well, you always learn that the pencil sea urchins are carnivorous and they're pretty voracious, but you never see them moving, you know, during the day.
Yep.
But we've been lucky today to see 2 of them munching on a crinoid and the other one on a bamboo coral.
Yeah, a lot of the times in shallow water reefs, they're stuck in crevices and things during the day.
Yeah.
And I imagine, you know, maybe there are some fishes that predate on these, but maybe there's not that abundant right now. They don't seem worried about being predated upon by larger fishes. They're kind of just doing their thing. Very interesting.
I think we're getting above you, but I think we're finishing up, so it's pretty good. So close. One more. Urchin's first steps.
It takes big steps. It's a move complete. Thanks, Bridge.
Very good. Okay. Well, if anything we found today, I wonder if, yeah, if these yellow crinometrids are also could potentially be prey, or they seem to be a little bit more agile.
Yeah. We've seen them moving a couple times, and they move quite quickly compared to the urchin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would imagine that those would also be prey potentially, but
Could be another.
you know, maybe
jump.
the pound for pound, maybe the stock and the crinoid, the stalked crinoid is more nutritious. Can we snap zoom at 3 o'clock at the branch kind of to the left of the large coral? There's a thin curving branch. Yeah.
to get
Okay.
into this, get a move in.
Just wanted to confirm that
Yeah.
it's still zoanthids. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for that zoom, Steve. I agree with you. That's what I saw earlier. So they were
I'll call it
zoanthids
in.
and not a primnoid.
Yeah,
Bridges are we now?
I haven't noticed any unbranched primnoids at this site, but it's not unreasonable to think that you can't
Yeah, like
have them. I
move,
know there's
same
at
as
least a
last.
couple of different
20
species of
meters,
unbranched
bearing
primnoids
090, speed
in this
decimal.
area.
It's a good copy. Thanks, Bridge. We are go.
Oh, there's another crinoid
move.
moving. Right there. It's the most I've seen crinoids move. They usually are just in place.
I guess this is what a scene of terror looks like in a crinoid's mind.
This is the terror movie.
It's a bloodbath.
Yeah, that have to be on their series.
After 16 dives, we've held it together until now. So, speaking of dives,
Oh, there's something
Awesome.
floating at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
for folks on the shore, what is that? A Medusa? A fish.
Oh, a fish. Oh, it's such a cute little fish.
These are huge fins for how small he is.
I think I've seen this.
It must be really fun. It's kind of doing a drift.
Oh, I'll help you out.
So for folks on the shore, we're 16 dives in to a 20 dive expedition. And unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, we lost a day due to weather, but we're planning on doing 19 dives during this expedition. Today's dive 16. We have 3 more dives after today, where we'll be doing probably a little bit of a diversity of depth ranges in our last few dives of the series. We're still going to be working in the vicinity of the Mona Passage, but after Sunday and Monday, on Tuesday we'll head back into the port of San Juan, and that'll be that. Hopefully, all in all, a successful expedition so far.
I think, yeah, we'll get there right in time. We have 20:05, 30 minutes left, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 29 minutes.
Is that some more debris over there, or to the right-hand side?
Go ahead, Bridge. Understood. As long as your rotation's A-frame, I'm cool with it. So, copy that. Thanks, Bridge. Making a heading change to starboard pilots.
Maybe Possibly a rock, another siderid. Trying to push that boulder up slope. Oh yeah, we've been seeing this a bit. So there are these ophiuroids, these brittle stars that kind of just wrapped around for a ride, I think, or maybe to get up into the current. Yeah, I don't think they are. It's not a parasitic or predatory relationship that we are observing. I think it's more of a they're there and they can't be taken off by the urchin.
And I wonder why I think maybe why they're doing this is because there are really no other branching structures out here that will allow them to get up in the water column, because we haven't been seeing this behavior that often during this expedition.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not been that common, especially on Histosideris or any urchins, sideroid urchins for that matter. So it's as good I guess as any, because a lot of the stems and stalks we're seeing, apart from maybe the stalked crinoids, are at best 10 centimeters tall, 15 centimeters, and that's about how long some of these spine tips are.
That's correct. Bridge is RV now. Once you're done with that heading change, I'd like a move. Understood. Yeah, for that move is the same as last. 20 meters, 090, speed decimal 2. Good copy. Thanks, Bridge. Another move coming your way, pilots.
Just need a few more big fish in the next 20 minutes.
Looks like maybe that urchin's eating on something else. It's propped up at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, out in the distance.
Yep.
All right, we'll head that way. We'll get a little more tether. Should be catching up with you shortly. Yep. Some of these sponges are so round. They look like little baseballs. Yeah. Everything's so evenly spaced. It's like each creature takes 6 feet of ground, distribute themselves evenly.
That looks like a big urchin up
Yeah,
there.
what is that? We're headed towards it. I think it's an urchin up on a coral.
Well, we have a minute. If you're on shore, we know that if some folks are interested in understanding what is going on Stream 3, if you are watching stream 3. We have a 4 quad screen display up there. In the upper left-hand corner, you should be seeing the D2 primary camera feed. In the upper right corner, you should see the ROV pilots control screen, along with some indications about the depth and direction of the ROV D2.
On with the curlies
On
on
the lower left, there should be a HIPAC screen
I've paused on a few.
with some
We seem to be
information
on
about
some
our
curly branches
seafloor
before.
navigation. And
Couple
on the
hours
lower
ago.
right-hand corner, you should see both the
Okay.
D2 and Sirius sonars.
Okay.
The color of the sonar returns is usually an indication of how hard a certain target or a response is.
Looks like the eating part's on the left side.
Yeah. Wow, that is quite large. I'm gonna get lasers off. Okay.
It's another coral predator.
Roger that. Move complete.
I wonder if it's the case. It seems like there are at least 2 data points here. The 2 largest of these Histosideris urchins that we've seen today have been propped up preying on these bamboo coral colonies. I wonder if it has something to do with the older adults or the larger individuals being able to eat these corals, possibly a more nutritious food. Maybe the younger ones or smaller ones are eating the bits of the crinoids, the stalked crinoids. Should get a good view of the oral side of this one.
Okay, co-pilot, will you take my camera tilt? Video, you're free to zoom.
This one doesn't have as many spines as the ones that we've been
Coming to port.
seeing.
You can see how it's kind of manipulating the spine. The spines are manipulating and grabbing onto the surface of the coral, holding it in place.
You can tilt down a touch. There we go.
So they have a really cool mouth part called the Aristotle lantern that are 5 teeth. They have something
Makes
that's
sense.
kind of like a tongue that helps them grab in the pieces and chomp down.
Do you like that tilt video?
A little more down.
Yeah, a little down and down.
I wonder if, I wonder if how much coordination they have here, because they really do pick off a lot of the coral polyps clean, and I wonder if there's actually any bioerosion going on of the actual axis itself. I'm sure there is, but
I think so.
it's not something you can see very easily. Yeah. One of the things we were looking at was, or noting that we are seeing polyps, but the tissue here, the senenchyme, seems pretty thin or difficult to see. It's difficult to tell
Okay.
which part of it is
Got,
exposed. I'm
full
guessing,
specimen
so
here.
I notice a little bit of a difference in the node coloration between areas that have tissue and those that do not. And I'm wondering if that's a good indication of if there is tissue there or not, or if it's being rasped away.
Slight right.
Going right.
This is very similar to how we see the asteroid stars kind of munching down on corals like this as well. I'm kind of surprised that they are not here also. We've seen a Mediaster sea star today, but we haven't seen very many sea stars. Maybe a goniasterid, a small goniasterid,
And let's sweep the
cookie
laser
star, but
across the body.
they've not been very common.
Can tilt
Speaking of this kind of predation behavior we've seen by these siderids kind of explains an observation we made earlier
Okay, video's
of
good. Lasers
Mediaster
clear.
star, which looked like it was missing one or two arm tips. And I know that a lot of the asteroids can move pretty fast, but you know, relative to the stalked crinoids, maybe. But I was wondering if maybe those arm
Bring the lasers back on.
tips were sacrificed or eaten by any one of these urchins.
Got you at 88, but we're not moving.
Pilot,
so.
could we just snap zoom on the fish to the right of the
Yeah.
lasers?
Can go in
It's
video.
a little bit more shinier than normal. Nope. They're green eyes.
Green eye?
Yeah.
Go wide.
Thanks.
Following you up. 65. Alright, we ready for another one? 55, sure.
Is that something else in the lower right corner there, or is that just a weird angle on a
Bridges.
Something
it's a
dark.
brittle star? Or this?
Yeah, ready for a move.
Never mind.
Same as last.
There's a white box in the distance, though, or some.
There's
It's like a
some
box
yeah,
or a
some-
tube.
That's purple on the bottom right.
Right.
That's a stalked crinoid.
Crawling on
Right
the bottom.
to the right of the
Oh, crawling?
lasers.
Oh, no.
I'm not
Yeah, I'm
sure.
going to zoom in on that.
That stalked crinoid is kind of laying flat,
Get up.
exhausted.
Looks like
Oh, it looks like some cloth
plastic bag.
or plastic bag. Yeah.
See it moving in the current. Okay, you go what? Looks like I'm starting to move a bit. Okay.
There's something dark in the sand.
Oh yeah. Want to do a snap zoom here video?
It's just
Pebble?
a rock, a pebble. Yep.
Drifting backwards.
Yeah. Just looks like a piece of coal or a rock. Okay, can go wide. Is that a good view, Watchley?
Yes. Thank you.
Alright.
Well, for a second, I thought that was that white sponge was a box or something. From a distance, it looked man-made, but I think actually it's just a sponge now. Can we snap on the white sponge?
Sure. We have a moment here I can set down.
Okay.
It's interesting.
It looks very much like the Facalia sponge we were looking at a few days ago.
Okay, lasers are clear. Okay, free to zoom video.
This is the sponge
Something up.
we haven't seen in a little while. We saw it more on the slopes, and this is one of the few individuals we've seen up top.
Fakelia, yeah. We collected a piece yesterday. Or the day before.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Yeah, 2 days.
There were some rather large sponges on the Mona Escarpment, or an escarpment, north of Mona, now known as the Mona Escarpment.
Catching up, but I think it's finishing up moves, so it should be good.
Excellent. Seems to be the pattern today.
Yeah.
Can see very clearly this ridge structures kind of look like almost vascularized part of the sponge, but it's not what it's for. It's not for, at least as far as we know, transporting nutrients. It's probably structural in nature. Sponges are filter feeders. They're creating a feeding current and extracting nutrition from the water column around.
Go what?
It is wireless, the skids.
Excellent.
There's another urchin eating bamboo.
Is that on a coral?
Yeah.
If you go in partial, I'll just fly over this urchin. Gotta make a move.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to throw a crazy hypothesis here.
All right. Go what?
Those brittle stars hanging onto the spine tips are actually refugees from, they used to be hanging on the coral, and then when
And they're like, oh, we have to move.
abandoned ship, so to
Abandoned
speak,
ship.
and so they jump onto the nearest spiny.
But we
Tallest
haven't
looking
seen
thing.
them on the bamboos, right? That often.
Not very often, but they are there.
There's an untouched bamboo if you want to zoom into those, see if they have those.
I mean, you would assume that these are not crawling
Partial here.
brittle stars. They pretty
Okay,
much
hold
just
there.
move
Zoom
along
to the right.
tall structures.
Yeah.
So I suppose if
I don't see any.
after a brittle star or a sideroid is done
Nope.
picking all the bits it wants off of the
Okay.
bamboo coral, potentially the refugees from that bamboo colony could ride the sideroid to a new
That's about 50.
coral colony.
Okay. And we're a little bit.
There's
That may
like a
just-
bigger fish right there at
coming with me.
Left side.
at 9 o'clock or 10.
29.
Oh yeah. Can go in.
Oh, it's a bigger green eye.
Yeah. Could probably get another jump in. Or we're passing waypoint 4. Are we just gonna? I guess we don't have too much time left. But
I think we have time for one more.
Go ahead, Bridge.
But this is the
Excellent. I'd like
most
another
I've
move.
seen of
Same
really
one, 2-0.
small
2-0,
echinoderms,
yeah.
you know? We've been seeing adults, and
It's a good
we've been
catfish,
seeing
yes.
a lot of small
more
crinoids and
move,
sea
yes.
urchins. So this might be a nursery habitat for...
Yeah, it could be. I'm still
Yeah,
curious what that
kind of
silvery small
Till we get it.
fish was. If that was
Oh.
a forage
Big fish,
fish or
right?
just the juvenile of something else.
Here's another.
Yeah, you can start going in video. In case I scare it. Okay. Lasers are clear.
Watch these. Got 10 minutes left in the dive.
Seems like you're not scaring. He's coming to you.
Yeah. We saw one of these
Okay.
earlier.
Yeah, this is the Pontinus.
Pontinus.
Pontinus, yeah. And, wow, the species Nematophthalmus.
We come out at partial video. I'll
Nematophthalmus.
try to get closer.
Nematophthalmus.
Okay, you can go in. Setting down. He's definitely not scared. Could have just come up and sat down.
So for folks on shore, we are in our last few minutes of the dive here. About 10 minutes till our off-bottom time is scheduled. We're made well. We're just at waypoint 4. We did a pretty good dive track today on time. Covered a lot of distance. Made a lot of collections that will help us understand and characterize the deep sea benthos in this area.
Same as before. Caught up
We've made
with
some
it.
pretty amazing observations of
Yes, clear.
deep water predation by
Can go out.
echinoderms on echinoderms and echinoderms on cnidarians, and a lot of observations of commercially important species like queen snapper. We've made several of those observations today.
Alright,
So
co-pilot,
just to
do you
review
wanna
for
line
everyone
up,
on shore,
more like 075 with the ship.
if you're following along, we collected 4 specimens today.
Okay.
One was a very unusual large tunicate, solitary tunicate species. As well, we made a collection of a cone-shaped sponge that we've been trying to track down for a few days. Possibly a euplectellid sponge. We also sampled a rather hard
And I'll
stony
keep
sponge
exploring here, but
that
we
is
could, maybe
abundant
start
in this
stowing the
particular
lures.
area and at these depths. And we sampled
We're
a
taking off in
possibly
4, right?
unknown species of crinoid,
You get 6 minutes.
Endoxocrinus. Exactly the same ones that you're seeing here with the purple reddish and gray stalk. There may
That's
also
okay,
be a
they won't
second
affect
species
the
or possibly
much.
juveniles of this species, the whiter ones that we're seeing in the foreground right now. For folks on the science party and on the science party conference line, we are planning on still starting our post-dive call and dive planning call for tomorrow as soon as possible after the off-bottom time due to the shallowness of our dive today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, stow them
So stay on the
slowly
line
to
around
rail cam.
10 after 4, 7 minutes past 4 is our official off-bottom time. We'll begin at around 10 past 4 or so. And hopefully we can get that done before the vehicles make it to the
That's
surface.
As long as they're under control. If you just go too fast, they
Yeah.
should
Quite aggressive.
I also want to acknowledge
make sure to put it,
a lot of the
it's all the way
assistance
outboard
we've
there.
had from shore today. We had some pretty great conversations with
bring it inboard?
echinoderm biologist
Well, right now it makes a big shadow
Chris
in
Ma
the
at the
center of the
Smithsonian
screen.
Institution, National Museum of Natural
Make
History.
sure it's all the way out.
Chuck Messing also called in with his insights about crinoids in the area.
Okay.
But I'll try again.
We've
Right.
also had conversations with about a dozen scientists today through the science chat, providing us some information about the fish communities here, as well as the invertebrate fauna we might be seeing. So it's not just us here. We have an army of people who are helping us better understand and characterize the deep sea benthos and deep sea demersal fish communities in this area.
Yeah, I guess that's the craft shadow. Sorry, video, I didn't realize the craft shadow is so pronounced.
Yeah, that's an ugly shadow.
So, now here's what I'm thinking. As soon as we go out of auto heads and into the water, I'm probably going to go straight south.
Yep.
So why don't we line up due north here? I'll keep exploring as we go, and then I'll just drive straight under, and we'll be stretched out.
Were you gonna swap with wires for this?
I think for the actual recovery, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You like that plan, Neff?
Yeah.
Do we
All right.
do we want to undo the shadow for the next 5 minutes?
Okay. Yeah, why don't you put
The plan.
just starboard. You can deploy starboard halfway.
So we're in the process of getting oriented here.
So the
There you
smaller
go.
ones
Shut this
are
down, right?
are possibly juveniles of
Then
the
you can
purplish
start following
ones.
me
Is
around to
that
the
what
north.
your theory?
Possibly, yeah. So that was one hypothesis, or they could be a different species of isochronid. It wasn't quite clear. Ideally, if we had unlimited resources, we would definitely want to collect a pair of them, but I think this will have to suffice for the moment.
All right.
So for fish, it wasn't a highly diverse site, but we did see possibly 4
It's kind of
queen
funny flying
snappers.
with one swing arm out.
It's
But
waving.
that's why they move, to make it flexible.
So white
Lining up
and
perfectly
black
now.
thing.
Can we snap zoom on the lasers?
Say again?
Snap zoom on the lasers. There's looks to be
yeah.
some sort of debris on the seafloor there.
Video, you can go in.
White and black. Oh,
Oh, sponge.
2 different
pair
color
of sponges.
Yeah. Should I take a closer look?
No, that's all right.
All right. You can go wide.
One of them we sampled, and another one of them we'll have to take a closer look at that purple sponge. We've seen a lot of color polymorphism on that
All right.
sponge.
Now you can stow everything. Okay, watch lead. Our time is up here. We're just going to stow the swing arms and come up off the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
You
Great.
want your uppers?
Great dive, front row, everyone.
Yeah, it was a good one. Thank you.
Make sure you don't bring up any of those urchins.
Yep. Uppers are good.
Oh, leave them.
Vicious
Oh,
urchin.
no.
We might not make it.
Sorry. No, I was vague.
Gonna have to call this one, rename the site
Death mound.
Urchin Bloodbath. It's definitely a very predation-filled dive. All right, so shoreside scientists, we will join you in about 2 or 3 minutes' time, about 10 past the hour, where we'll convene and talk about plans for tomorrow. Thanks to everyone who's joining us on the shore around the world. We've had a great dive today. We hope you can join us for our next 3 dives at least on this expedition. So hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Mañana vamos a
You can
explorar
also come up to Delta
cerca de la isla de Mona.
20.
Buenas
Can we do
tardes.
that? I'll just let the current bring me a little closer to you. All right, that looks good. So you can just secure hydraulics and we'll get into formation.
Bridges RV nav. Yeah, just letting you know that we're bringing the RVs off bottom. Looks like we're pretty much at the shallowest. Just one more contour way over here. That's what, 440, 430, 420?
Okay. Heading up behind you.
Okay. Can you tell that looks like it's off to your side?
Yeah.
I want to